Hey everybody. Not exactly the expanding universe, but I was watching Lancel, Star Wars SwEUTeen on Instagram, his live stream, roasting Twitter people that spread disinformation about the expanding universe. And I don't know, I just kind of felt inspired because I'm also a young guy, and I don't know, I don't go on Twitter too much for my sanity. In between work and reading the expanding universe and other novels, um, and playing video games, working on Bible studies, just got a lot going on. So I I just don't want to waste time arguing with people. I already do enough of that on Noah's server when it comes to denning. Um, I love Noah's server though, and I love Noah's channel, Quality Autism, worth a subscription. Subscription makes it sound like you have to pay for it. It's worth a sub to his channel. Um, but I made my one big defending the EU video, which was my April Fool's video about me going over to the new canon exclusively. That was probably my only video where I've really gone to make a much satire on the EU not being canon when it most clearly was for anybody that does the slightest bit of research. It's just a fact. Like there's no debate that should be had, but there is because people spread misinformation. But that kind of has become the norm in our current day and age, whether it be politics or whatever. Star Wars expanding universe. There's disinformation spread. You know, because it's all about those clicks. If you are a new canon, you know, influencer, for some reason they feel the need to bash what came before. It'd be one thing if it was just a matter of, hey, I really enjoy this. I mean, and that's great. Who am I to take away enjoyment from you? If you enjoy the canon shows and stuff like Andor and stuff and the novels and all the power to you. I mean, that's great that you love something. Who am I to take that away from you? If that gives you joy amidst the darkness that is this world, I don't care. I'm happy for you. I'm not trying to sound sarcastic or demeaning. I'm genuinely glad that you find enjoyment out of it. The issue comes in when you try to argue that the expanding universe sucks, therefore you should read canon. Just enjoy both, or enjoy the one and ignore the other, like I do. This is why I'm not a Ryan Kennel. I don't mind Ryan Kennel, he's probably never going to watch this, but I don't mind him. Other people dislike him. I judge people based on their character, not based on their content. So from what I can gather, he seems like a good person. His content is just not something that really vibes with me personally. I don't enjoy hate content. Raging Rhino, for example, watches all the new stuff and constantly bashes it every second he gets because he thinks he's really getting Disney. I mean, all the power to him if he wants to make that content. People really love hate content like that. You're not going to change anybody's minds. Maybe on the internet, but you're not going to change anybody at Lucasfilm's minds doing that. You're not. You're not showing them anything because they don't care about you, just like they don't care about me. And that goes to other friends that I know too, like Sheev Talks, making his 2-hour videos on Kenobi, which are great, and I'm sure a lot of people will get insight from that and appreciate that, that are subscribed to him. But you're not going to change Lucasfilm's mind with that video. It's basically a way to cleanse your anger, like to just let it out somewhere through making that video. But nobody at the top is ever going to care about us, ever. It's just not going to happen. We had a billboard up for months. Okay, not me, but the Expanding Universe community, Matt Wilkins and others, helped fund a billboard being in front of Lucasfilm for months. It did nothing. It changed nothing. All they're doing currently is throwing us a bone by, giving us the Essential Legends collections of books we already own with usually worse art. The only true positive to come out of that is unabridged audiobooks. That's something really good because there are a lot of books that just have abridged, and that's bad because an audiobook should be unabridged. This video is kind of disjointed. I just want to say, as someone that is a young person, I'm not as young as Lance because he's, still in high school. I am 21. I'll be 22 next year. It's October 2022 at this moment, so for me, I don't know if this video is going to be released soon or not. But Lance had a really poignant point near the end of his stream the other day. I'll probably leave a link in the description to the stream. But even though I'm 21, I'm still in that target audience bracket for what the Disney universe should be trying to aim for. Because I was 15. Or no. Yeah, I think I was 14, 15 when The Force Awakens came out. You know, I technically am in the age of the prequels. But when Episode 3 came out, I was 4 years old. I never got to see any Star Wars movie in theaters. I never saw the original in theaters, and I never saw the prequels in theaters. I saw them all on VHS and DVD, on the small screen. The first time I got to see a Star Wars movie in theaters was Episode 7. I didn't know about the expanded universe. I've watched TCW, on Cartoon Network. I had played the Force Unleashed video game. I didn't know that was connected to an expanded universe. I didn't know about that. I just knew about the game. And so I watched it, and there were things that bothered me, but I really I was so hyped that this was my first Star Wars film that I got to experience in theaters. I just kind of ignored it. Like Han being the way he was kind of bothered me, but then I was so happy to see Harrison Ford back in the role that I just ignored all the problems. I was so happy to see him. And then you get to Episode 8. And my faith was gone after everything that was done with Luke Skywalker. That wasn't Luke. And people go, oh, well, it's a deconstruction. You're just an idiot who doesn't know what's good writing and what's not, you stupid pleb. I'll give you a perfect example. Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi, with Tobey Maguire, is a deconstruction of Spider-Man. Because it makes Spider-Man, the hero of the titular film, ask, why am I doing this? And then he gives it up. The hero, subvert our expectations, our hero stops being the hero. But the point of that film is to rebuild up his character, remind him and the audience why he's doing what he's doing. In the first Spider-Man film, he's swinging through the city, he's feeling fantastic, he's feeling the thrill of the powers, and finds enjoyment in saving the day. It also doesn't really affect his day-to-day life as much as it does in the second film, at least not in a negative light. Get to 2, Spider-Man succeeds, but Peter Parker fails. And he doesn't understand why he can't be happy when he helps everyone else. And that's the deconstruction. But a deconstruction only works if you're toppling the building to reconstruct it, to make you re-understand it in a new light and appreciate it more, which is not what the sequels did with Luke Skywalker. At all. They didn't make Luke go, oh, I give up on this, only to remember how important it is. That's not how it ended. This is not to be a hate on Disney canon. I'm saying all this because people like me and Lance and Quinlan are the new generation. I forget exactly how it happened. I think I found Kylo Ren the most interesting, so I looked up something about Kylo Ren on YouTube. And I found Ryan Kennel. It was something about the sequels, or something about the expanded universe, and talking about Jason Solo. The character that came before Ben. And so, he called it the expanded universe. And I think after that, I looked up the expanded universe on YouTube, and I found Matt Wilkins' playlist. I think at the time he had gotten finished with the dark times. So I had to catch up. And after that, I've been following, and I didn't start really commenting until a little bit later. But I was there for that. And I fell in love. But at first, you just have Matt Wilkins and Christopher Nelson, like all older guys, and they're not old people. I like to tease, but they're not old. But they're around my parents' age, if not older. And it's like, it's like having parents in the EU, I guess, in the EU community, but it's not. You can't relate completely. I mean, Matt's got kids. I mean, Marcel, another great guy, he's got kids. Christopher's got kids. I don't have kids. I can't relate to those guys as much. I can never really understand that right now, because they're just in a different phase of their life from me. They're married. They're they're actually doing important things with their lives, and I'm over here just talking about Star Wars because I'm basically a child. I still live with my parents. I don't have a car yet, and I really don't feel like I've aged mentally a lot since I graduated. Graduation feels like it happened yesterday, and it was a couple years ago now, which makes me feel old. But the point is, I guess, of this whole video is that people like Lance have helped spark that love, because back in the day there was the forums with Star Wars. People could talk and discuss, with the expanding universe, but those forums don't exist anymore. And so through this community, I've come to know so many people and care about so many people, and it's a wonderful feeling to be able to share this love with other people. I mean, even when I'm done with my EU reviews, I'm not going to stop talking about Star Wars. They'll still come on live streams when my internet decides to freaking work. I'll still do my own live streams, again, when my internet decides to work, because that's the meme of my channel currently, is my internet never freaking working. But I'll never stop talking about the expanding universe. That's what I love. I love it. It's God, family, and friends, and it's the freaking EU, baby. That'd probably drop down to 4 if I found a significant other and children, but that hasn't happened yet. So, I guess I would go under family and friends. But anyway, the point being, EU is very important to me. As like a side hobby thing, it's very important to me. It has become a part of my life. And I wouldn't change that for the world. It got me through a very tough time in 2019 personally. I know it's very arbitrary in a grand scheme, but I was in a relationship and it ended. And when you're young, you're like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. You're true love. And it was just rough at the time. I realize now it's whatever. But at the time it felt earth shattering. Even though it wasn't. It was 9 months. Wasn't even a year, but at the time it broke me. But and then 2021 was just, in 2020 was just a bad year for everybody. And the expanded universe got me through it, so I'll always be thankful for that. But it's people like Lance that have reinvigorated that love. Brennan, Quinlan, I mean, and others have just helped me love this franchise. And I thank you all for that. And, because I have friends, that I see regularly, and they don't care. Family doesn't care about it either. I mean, I have friends that will, like Star Wars, so they'll, like, listen about it, but they're probably not going to read it anytime soon. So I can't really talk to them in detail about anything because they could care less. So, I can only really spread that love through you guys. And, I lose faith more and more every day that Lucasfilm will ever listen to the fans. But if there's going to be hope, it helps with all the people who have been doing it for years and years and years now ahead of us, like Matt Wilkins and Christopher Nelson and Dylan and others, and Brian Borg from Twin Suns. They've been fighting the fight for a long time. But is Lucasfilm ever going to really listen to a bunch of 40-year-olds? I mean, I don't think they're going to listen regardless. I just think they don't care enough about us, EU fans. But if they're going to listen, they're going to listen to the younger generation. We are the last bastion, the last remnant of the empire, but not empire. Well, under Gilead Pelion, it was a good empire, so we'll say Gilead. Under Gilead's last stand, before it just gets wiped out of existence, we were the last bastion of hope for the expanded universe. If we can't get through to Lucasfilm, then no one will. It's up to people like Lance, who has a much bigger following than I do, so he will most likely be able to spread that message further than I could. But to all the young EU fans out there, keep fighting a good fight. You're not the only one who loves this universe. You have others who love it just as much as you. Maybe it's not canon anymore, but it matters to our hearts. It matters to our experiences, you know. It can help us through a tough time, you know. And if the new canon does that for you too, wonderful. But don't bash on the old. Love both. Or love your own, but don't bash the other. That's why I don't talk about new canon. I spread the love that I love, and I dish out the hate when it deserves it, because the expanded universe is not perfect. But I love this universe. I love these books, and these comics, and these short stories, and these video games more than I love the movies. No shame about that. I do. And it's thanks to all of you watching, commenting, making your own videos, making your own live streams, talking on Twitter and debating stupid people. You are the reason that we have a voice. Because Lucasfilm isn't listening. You guys do. So whether you be a 40-year-old like Matt, younger than me, making me feel like an old person, no matter what, young and old, let's come together. Let's spread the love of this universe together. Let's show Lucasfilm that this matters. And that if they care about their fans, if they care about making money, easy money, then they will continue this universe. And if they don't, well, frick them. We'll continue to love this universe and bash down anybody who spreads misinformation. If you don't like something, that's fine. But don't lie. Don't be ignorant of something you don't understand. You want it once and for all? Period. Done. Nada. Full stop. The expanded universe was canon. That is why in 2014 it needed to be decanonized. Period. To say otherwise is ignorance at best, arrogance, stupidity, and flat out lying at worst. Don't be those people. Be smarter than that. This video is all over the place. But thank you, Lance. Thank you, everybody who comments. Thank you for everyone who subscribes. Thank you for everyone for being you, for loving the expanded universe. Thank you for keeping this community alive and well. We will fight on forever. We will continue to talk about the universe that we so love. Anyway, I gotta head to work. So you all have yourselves a fantastic day. Or night. Whatever time it is for you. And remember, the EU is something worth celebrating, worth discussing. Bye-bye. See ya.